Hello, NetPractice campus team. Today I'm here for my video submission round, and these are the four questions that I'm going to answer. So let's start one by one. So introduce yourself. So my name is Nitish Kumar. Currently, I'm pursuing Masters of Computer Application from Lovely Professional University, and I have done my graduation from Banaras Hindu University. I have done two internships. First is at ZenLearn.ai, and second is at HealTether. The first one was as a tech specialist or more about the generative AI engineer, and the second internship was more about the Flutter app developer. So now let's talk about my technical interest. So my technical interest is much more on machine learning and uh, artificial intelligence. Specifically, when I talk, then my interest is much more about the generative AI field. And let's talk about my favorite subject. So my favorite subject is data structures and algorithm and DBMS and mathematics. So data structures and algorithm is my favorite because it generally helps you to create or helps you to generally much more creative about the problem solving skills. And from the mathematics that you need to learn is building the logics, especially when you go for the solving a mathematical problem. Then you will be learning much more logical things, how to do and how to approach any question. So any activity where I helped other to learn or solve problems. So let me take an example of a recent. In the last semester, I was working in a team. So my project was to build or fine tune open source model, especially the OCR model, on a custom data set, especially the government results that published in a table. So my teammates were unknown about the word embedding concepts and the OCR concept, what these actually are. So here, there I have helped them to learn about much more about concept or about embedding concept in the simple words. So so that I can make sure that each and every team member understand the whole ecosystem, that how the project that we are going to build is solvable or not. So now let's move to the second question, that is choose any technical concept where you feel comfortable with and explain it in a simple way that you are teaching to beginners. So here, let me explain a basic example of a data structure, which is array. So uh, as you have seen in the bank, there are lockers, and each locker have a separate unique number. Basically, like locker 0, locker 1, locker 2, and locker 3, and all. So array and each locker basically holds an item or prestigious things for their customer. So an array is something works like same exactly like locker works in a bank. So it is a basically array is a box. It stores some data into the memory. So it store a box by box in memory, and each boxes has an unique number, which is generally known as index values or index number, and it generally start from zero. So so now imagine as an tech trainer, I have to store the marks of five different students. So instead of creating variables for the different students, I'll create an array where I'm going to store the marks of each students. That's going to start from the index 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So imagine if on the third number there is a Rahul. So if I have to fetch the marks of the Rahul, then I will just simply typing the array and the index value of that where the Rahul is stored. So it's on the third position. So the index value of that is going to be 2. So array and in the square bracket the index value. So it will retrieve the marks of that student. The most important thing to remember in the array is basically its index value starts from 0. So in the most of the time student get confused that the index value of array generally start from 1, but this is not correct. It basically start from 0, and it get added 1 each time, like from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 and all. So now let's move to the next question, that is when solving the coding or technical problem, how do you usually approach when you get stuck? So this is interesting. So normally in the starting time when I was solving a coding question, I usually get stuck. So generally I used to follow some of the certain uh, rules or guidelines. So first is just don't rush towards the speed. Like if you are going to solve in 4 minutes or 5 minutes, that's not necessary. If you are not able to solve in that, first we have to slow down, understand the problem statement, what exactly it is. Read the questions carefully. Note down each points. What are the exactly in the question they are trying to solve you or they are asking to you. So step one is for me to reread the problem statement or write in a normally plain English what they are asking or most of the time the rules that I have followed is basically rewriting the question in my language or in a simpler language instead of the technical language where I get much more clarity about what they are actually asking. So the step two that I follow is basically when you get clear picture of the problem statement, then you basically start breaking it into the multiple steps. Like whenever I have find the factorial of a number where I generally used to see what they're actually looking for. It is just really by taking a number from the input from the user or basically just hard code any number or just do -1 -1 -1 or basically what I need to do is I need to define a recursion here. So breaking it down not just only help you to approach the problem statement in an effective manner, but also it generally helps you to understand where is your pain point or where you are exactly getting stuck. The step three that I'm follow is basically try a simpler approach. You doesn't need to go for the optimization of the code. First, you have to try your simple hit and trial method, or basically no matter if the time complexity or a space complexity is higher. First, you have to exactly start solving the problem statement, what exactly it is, and get a small working prototype or working code, functional code for that. If you still didn't get any like feedback from the step two, then you need to look for a documentation or any helper things, not exactly the full problem statement that or full solution that you need to see. You can just see what the steps that in the solution we have to follow to get an optimized answer or optimized solution for that. So now let's move to the fourth question. That is, many students struggle with the confidence while learning coding or DSA. How would you help or motivate such a student? So that's a very interesting question. In the starting time, I also used to feel very underconfident about the DSA concept that I will not be able to solve it. So the things that I have applied to me is basically few steps. So confidence in generally coding question usually break it down like when a student basically approach a problem statement and their mind goes blank. So in that case, students get afraid. So instead of directly jumping to the advanced level question, they need to start from the basic question like operator or area questions, where they can feel much more about confident in the coding, especially when you start from the operator. Then you can build a simple calculator from that, and starting from that, you can go step by a step to the next level concept. So first thing that I'm gonna tell them is basically make it normalized because every developer or every student, in fact me as a technical trainer, sometimes goes blank and feel underconfident in coding question. So there is no need to be shameful for yourself or feel underconfident that you are not knowing the solution for this particular question. And also I'll try to yes, I'll also try to brainstorm from the students that what exactly the concept that you are not knowing, and it's like what you already know about the problem. Just sometimes they need just a pull up because most of the time I've seen that me as a student or any student knowing much more than required to solve that problem statement, but still they feel underconfident about that. So just I need to just I'll give them a pull up or give them a helping hand to basically approach the problem statement that you already know about that. And also, instead of scolding the student, if in fact he is able to write a simple line of code, then it will be a great moment or for me, or also I'll celebrate for that students. Uh, if a student's scares writing the first working loop that matters, I would make sure they know it matters. And I would never make any student uncomfortable for asking a question to me, and also make them. It's like you doesn't need to feel embarrassed when you are asking a question, because if a student is started feeling that he is embarrassed for asking his question, that's it's a defeat for the technical trainer or being a teacher or faculty for that. So my job is to make sure every students clear their doubt and start solving, or grow one day, start growing day by day.